Hello, I'm David Hopper from Hopper Environmental Services, here today to answer some of the most commonly asked questions regarding termite coverage. Here in north central Arkansas, the only one we have is the eastern subterranean termite. Subterranean meaning they live in the ground. Termites, the subterranean termites live in colonies in the ground. They forage out of them colonies to look for a food source. When they find a food source, say your house, then they'll enter through a crack up the foundation. Some of the signs of termites, even the homeowner can notice. Anytime that the termite comes out of the ground to enter a structure and they have to expose themselves to light or air, they're going to build a mud tube or tunnel, we call it. It's called a shelter tube. It's generally about 1/4 inch to maybe 1/2 inch wide, just made out of brown, normally brown mud, whatever the soil looks like at that time, and it'll run from the ground up to the wood or the food source. Well, in north central Arkansas, if you look at researchers' maps, we are considered moderate to heavy as far as the termite pressure. My personal opinion, we're closer to the heavy than the moderate. As you go north, the northern states, you'll see moderate, and of course farther south, you know, towards the Gulf Coast and that direction, you will see heavy infestations. When you've ever seen a tented structure, that's treating for a drywood termite, which we do not have. You'll find them in the arid states, maybe Arizona, the west coast states, east coast of Florida, because what they have to do with the tents is actually fumigate the inside of the home, because these are not subterranean termites. They are termites that actually can survive in the structure, in the wood, without having the contact with the soil. After you've seen evidence of termites, the best thing to do is call the professional. There are products that you can buy over the counter that will kill termites, but to effectively treat a structure, you have to have the proper training and equipment to get the product where it needs to be the most effective. For instance, a lot of the treatment has to be injected under slabs. So you're dealing with hammer drills and your pumps and equipment to get the product where it needs to be, and the training of the technician to know where to put it. In Arkansas, we are licensed by the Arkansas State Plant Board. They set our rules and regulations for treatment. There are a lot of minimum requirements that might be physical on the home that they require, such as clearance under a crawl space. You cannot have any wood to ground contact. You have to eliminate that before you can treat and put a house under contract. So, and various regulations like that. Actually, the plant board was put in place to protect the homeowner. After we treat a house, the termiticides or products we use have a residual. So what we have put in the ground is going to stay there for several years. Now when I say several years, this is going to depend on the product, it's going to depend on weather, different elements like that. But what we're dealing with is label directions is what we have to follow, the EPA registered label. The products that Hopper Environmental uses do not allow just routine treatments without evidence of infestation or evidence that that barrier that we have put down has been disturbed. If we find evidence after our annual treatment, we will reapply the termiticide, whatever needed, or if we see the soil, the barrier has been disrupted, then we can treat then. But basically, annually, we're doing an inspection to renew your warranty. After we treat a home for termites, if it has had damage. That is an option of the buyer, or the homeowner, to repair that damage if that homeowner chooses to. We will treat and put a house under contract with damage. When we do our initial inspection and we find termites, we find the damage, we note that on what we call a foundation plat. We draw a sketch of the house. That way we can mark. Our company will use an X for infestation or an X with a circle around it to indicate damage. And so we will mark all the visible damage that we see and then relay that to the homeowner, what condition that the damage is, and then they can have it repaired or leave it like it is, but it'll always be noted on our plat in our records where that damage was or where the infestation was. Home inspectors, they find a lot of the damage that hasn't been repaired. Another thing, a homeowner, if they're thinking about purchasing a home, they can call us, and with permission of the homeowner or seller, we can go over the graft with them, tell them what we have noted there, so they would have an idea, did the house have termites, was there damage? And if we're notified by the homeowner after damage is repaired, we will note it in our records that damage has been repaired and can relay that on to the prospective buyer.